His reaction was not what I had expected. He became very quiet, studying the documents I had brought with intense concentration. He asked careful questions about the details, about the people involved, about the timeline of events. He seemed to be processing the information analytically rather than emotionally, as if he was trying to solve a puzzle rather than dealing with a personal revelation. After about an hour of discussion, he told me something that shocked me completely. He said that he had always suspected that the story about his origins wasn't entirely true. His adoptive parents had been loving and supportive, but there had been inconsistencies in the story they had told him. Documents that didn't quite match up, dates that didn't make sense, evasive answers when he asked specific questions about his birth parents. He revealed that he had been conducting his own investigation into his origins for several years. He had hired a private investigator to look into his birth records, and they had discovered some of the same discrepancies that were documented in my grandmother's journal. He had been trying to piece together the truth about his background, but he had been missing crucial information that only our family possessed. My brother told me that he had actually been planning to contact our mother within the next few months. He had tracked down her current address and had been trying to decide how to approach her. He had been nervous about making contact, unsure of how she would react to hearing from the son she had given up decades ago. He had been worried that she might not want to see him, or that she might have forgotten about him entirely. The coincidence of our meeting at the conference seemed almost impossible to believe. We had been moving toward each other for months, each trying to uncover the truth about our shared past. If we hadn't attended the same conference, we might have contacted each other within weeks anyway. The timing felt significant, as if the universe had decided that the secret had been kept long enough. We talked until the coffee shop closed, sharing stories about our childhoods and our families. We discovered that we had more in common than just our appearance. We had similar interests, similar career paths, similar approaches to problem solving. We both had a love of reading and a fascination with history. We both had struggled with the same subjects in school and had excelled in the same areas. The similarities were remarkable and went far beyond what could be explained by coincidence. My brother asked about our mother, about what kind of person she was and how she had handled the secret over the years. I told him about her kindness and her strength, about the way she had raised me and the values she had instilled in me. I also told him about the sadness that had always seemed to lurk beneath her surface, about the way she would sometimes look at me with an expression I couldn't understand until I learned about him. He expressed interest in meeting her, but he wanted to take things slowly. He was concerned about the impact that his sudden appearance might have on her life and her health. He suggested that we should coordinate our approach, that I should prepare her for the possibility of contact before he reached out directly. He wanted to give her time to process the idea and to decide how she wanted to handle the situation. I returned home from the conference with a strange mixture of excitement and anxiety. I had found my brother, but I still had to figure out how to tell my mother about our meeting. I was worried about how she would react to the news that the secret she had kept for so long was finally coming to light. I was also concerned about the practical implications of our reunion, about how it would affect both of our families. I decided to ease into the conversation gradually. I told my mother that I had been thinking about the journal and the information it contained. I mentioned that I had been curious about my brother and had been wondering whether she thought he might be interested in making contact. I suggested that perhaps it was time to consider reaching out to him, that keeping the secret might be causing more harm than good. My mother's reaction was immediate and intense. She became very emotional, alternating between excitement and terror at the prospect of seeing her other son. She had been thinking about him constantly since I had discovered the journal, but she had been afraid to hope that a reunion might be possible. She worried that too much time had passed, that he might be angry with her for giving him up, that he might not want anything to do with his birth family. I told her about the conference, about meeting my brother and learning about his own search for the truth. I explained that he had been looking for her, that he wanted to make contact, but had been nervous about how she would react. I described our conversation and his desire to take things slowly, to give everyone time to adjust to the new situation. I assured her that he seemed to be a good man, that he was kind and thoughtful and understanding. The reunion took place a month later, in a neutral location that felt safe for everyone involved. My brother brought his wife, and I brought my husband. My mother was nervous but determined, dressed in her best outfit and carrying a photo album filled with pictures of me growing up. She had spent weeks preparing for this meeting, gathering mementos and documents that she thought he might want to see. The first few minutes were awkward, with everyone unsure of how to behave or what to say. My brother approached our mother cautiously, and she began to cry the moment she saw him. She reached out to touch his face, marveling at how much he looked like me, and how much he reminded her of the baby she had given away. She apologized repeatedly for her decision, for the years of separation, for the pain that the secret might have caused him. My brother surprised everyone by thanking her for the choice she had made. He told her that his adoptive parents had given him a wonderful life, that he had been loved and supported and given every opportunity to succeed. He said that he understood why she had made the decision she had, that he didn't blame her for choosing what she thought was best for both of her children. He explained that he had come to find her not out of anger or resentment, but out of curiosity and a desire to understand his origins. The conversation gradually became more natural as we shared stories and got to know each other. My brother told us about his childhood, his education, his career, his family. My mother shared memories of her pregnancy and the early years of my life, filling in details that helped him understand the context of the decision that had been made. We discovered that we had been living parallel lives in many ways, facing similar challenges and celebrating similar successes. As the evening progressed, we began to discuss the future and how we wanted to handle our relationship going forward. My brother was interested in maintaining contact, but he was also concerned about managing the expectations of both families. He wanted to introduce his children to their new uncle and grandmother, but he also wanted to be respectful of his adoptive parents and their feelings about the situation. We agreed to take things one step at a time, to build our relationship gradually and let it develop naturally. We exchanged contact information and made plans to get together again in a few weeks. My mother gave my brother the photo album she had prepared, along with some family documents that she thought he might want to have. He gave her recent photos of his children and promised to arrange for her to meet them soon. The months that followed were a period of adjustment for all of us. My brother and I began to spend time together regularly, building the relationship that we had been denied for the first 4 decades of our lives. We discovered that we had complementary skills and interests, and we began to collaborate on some projects related to our respective careers. Our spouses became friends, and our children enjoyed meeting their new cousins. My mother flourished during this period, finally free from the secret that had haunted her for so long. She was able to talk about both of her sons openly, to share stories about our childhoods, and to plan for our futures. She became a grandmother to my brother's children, attending their school events and birthday parties. She seemed lighter and happier than she had been in years, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. The situation with my brother's adoptive parents was more complicated. They had been supportive of his search for his birth family, but they were also hurt by the revelation that they had been misled about his origins. They felt that they had been deceived by the people who had arranged the adoption, and they were angry about the falsified documents and the lies they had been told. It took time for them to work through their feelings and to accept the new reality. Eventually, we were able to bring both sides of the family together for holidays and celebrations. My brother's adoptive parents came to understand that his relationship with his birth family didn't diminish his love for them or his gratitude for the life they had given him. They were able to see that the reunion had brought him happiness and closure, and they were willing to accept the expanded family that had resulted from the revelation of the truth. Looking back on the experience, I realized that the journal changed everything in ways that I never could have anticipated. It didn't just reveal a family secret. It brought together people who had been separated by circumstances and fear. It gave my mother a chance to heal from decades of guilt and regret. It gave my brother the answers he had been seeking about his origins. It gave me a relationship with a sibling that I had never known existed. The secret that had been kept for over 40 years turned out to be less destructive than anyone had feared. The people involved had been motivated by love and a desire to do what was best for the children involved. The deception had been born out of desperation and limited options, not malice or selfishness. The truth, when it was finally revealed, brought healing and connection rather than pain and division. I often wonder what would have happened if I had never found the journal, if my grandmother had taken the secret to her grave as she had originally planned. My brother would have continued his search and probably would have found us eventually. My mother would have continued to carry her guilt and her longing. I would have gone through my entire life never knowing that I had a twin brother living just 2 hours away. The truth would have remained hidden, but the pain and the questions would have persisted. Instead, we were given the gift of honesty and the opportunity to build relationships based on complete knowledge of our shared history. We were able to understand the choices that had been made and the reasons behind them. We were able to forgive the people who had kept the secret and to appreciate the love that had motivated their actions. We were able to create a new family dynamic that honored both the past and the present. The question that started this whole journey was simple: what is your secret? The answer turned out to be more complex and more beautiful than I ever could have imagined. The secret was that love sometimes requires difficult choices, that families can be separated by circumstances, but connected by bonds that transcend time and distance. The secret was that truth has a way of revealing itself when the time is right, and that healing is possible even after decades of separation and pain. My secret now is that I understand the power of choice and the importance of honesty. I know that secrets can be kept out of love, but that they can also prevent the very connections they are meant to protect. I have learned that family is not just about blood and genetics, but about the relationships we choose to build and maintain. I have discovered that it is never too late to find the missing pieces of your life, and that sometimes the most important discoveries come from the most unexpected places. The journal sits on my bookshelf now, a reminder of the journey that brought our family together. I have added my own entries to it, documenting the reunion and the relationships that have grown from that first meeting. I hope that someday my children will read it and understand the story of how our family was broken apart and then brought back together. I hope they will learn from our experience and make their own choices about family and love and truth with wisdom and compassion. What is your secret? Mine is that secrets don't have to be forever, that love can overcome time and distance and fear. Mine is that family can be found in the most unexpected places, and that healing is possible even when hope seems lost. Mine is that the truth, when shared with courage and kindness, has the power to transform lives and create connections that last for generations. That is my secret, and I am no longer afraid to share it.
If this incredible story of family secrets and reunion moved you, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on our next deep dive. Now, a question for you. Do you believe some secrets, especially those kept out of love, are better left undiscovered, or does the truth always deserve to come out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring the stories that connect us all.